Hello, listeners and watchers. Jon Rognerud, founder, chaosmap.com, creative customer acquisition agency in Los Angeles. This is me, Jon, here today. And man, if you are watching here today, you're going to be laughing because basically the slide here, or this one image rather, has at the top here, selling ice to Eskimos, and a picture of an Eskimo very happily with the sold stickers on there, ice, 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 baby, right? Wow, who the heck wants to sell ice to an Eskimo, or better yet, how could you even fathom starting such a journey, right? Yeah, let me get you some ice, brother. Not cold enough up here. Well, I titled today's presentation, How This One Marketing Strategy Can Actually Sell, sort of tongue-in-cheek here, ice to Eskimos. Well, the big hint here is it starts with an E, and I'll get to that in a moment. But first, I just want to thank you because I have to say my presentations, my broadcasts here include my blog up on iTunes and Stitcher and Spotify now and Google Play and Overcast. It's growing, and it's all because of you, and really appreciate it. It's kind of exciting, to be honest with you. It is very exciting. It's not kind of. So just wanted to give you a shout out because I'm speaking to you right now, whether you're driving in the car listening to this, or you're actually live out on Facebook, or perhaps you're grabbing this on YouTube later. I've had some questions about this content distribution strategy. I'll talk about that in a future broadcast. I'm actually working on some new things with the team here to build out a little more seamless process for this. It's a bit manual right now, but anyway, we are going to get back to the topic at hand, talking about this marketing strategy. And of course, you know what I mean when I say selling ice to Eskimos, tongue-in-cheek here on this one, but actually, how could you even fathom or dare to start that process? Well, the word begins with E, and here we are. Education-based marketing as a sales tactic. And you can find this on the blog post if you just type chaosmap, C-H-A-O-S, map, mapping the chaos, chaosmap, education. That's all you type into Google. You'll see the blog post here, and I'm going to talk about this today. And I'm going to start out by mentioning the book here from Chet Holmes. So I think you should get that immediately and listen to it. A very inspirational book, but a very real book that talks about the 3% of your ideal customers. And what I mean by that is, Chet, God rest his soul, is talking about this where there's really just not that many actively searching for your product or service. In fact, he talks about the 3% here that are in active buying mode. And this is interesting because that means that the other 97%, well, there's a breakdown of that, and he talks about that in the book, but what are they doing? And we also know that if we're trying to attract that audience quality, the 3%, the buyers, well, yeah, we talk about the other 97% and what we need to do there through the customer journey, etc. You can listen to my other previous broadcasts on that, talk quite a bit about that. But basically what we're saying here is if everybody's going after the 3% in your market, and your niche market is preferred, right? Well, then it can get quite expensive because everybody's in there, SEO, PPC, all these costs go up. They go up anyway, but it's going to be even more competitor. And these hungry marketers are really going to be in there like rabid dogs on some meat or something, or wolves, I should say. And it even will, force in some ways, marketers at this level to become rather stupid and use shady tactics, etc., to grab market share. So the way to sort of avoid all of that, and again, this is not instant, right? You need to really invest in your company at this level to think about this almost like a publishing media house, right? Publishing house where you become a driver of a strategy for developing content. And when I say you, is the owner, right? Now, you can outsource this. We can obviously help with this at the firm. But really, it starts with you, your voice, your message, your brand, your direct connection to your preferred audience. So you can get to your 3%. So let's dig in here. And I'm going to talk about education-based marketing. It's becoming just very effective as a sales strategy, and it's a way for you to obviously be very well positioned. The first one, though, that I want to talk about before we get into authority building, etc., is you don't come across as sales aggressive, right? I mean, we have a very educated marketplace right now because of the internet and obviously many other factors from just sort of an emergence of awareness over time here, but you don't come across as sales aggressive, meaning, you don't have to pester and, chase people down anymore, right? Dishonest motives, etc. I talked a little bit about that. You don't have to be cheesy or weird about this. You basically start by building your reputation, and this can not only be hard to shake, but it's also a very solid approach for leaving a bit of a legacy if you want to go that far ahead, right? So using education-based selling is really a strategy that, you're basically trying to help the community. Just like my broadcasts here, I'm trying to help you, trying to get you some angles, some ideas and thoughts about what you can do for your own business. We obviously can help with this at chaosmap.com, as I just mentioned, but really, you need to start thinking about how you can position yourself with quality content, and I'm just scrolling up and down here, and position yourself as value add. And you've heard this before, but it bears repeating. And an example here, which is very interesting, I thought, Apple Rubber, they provide consumers with information on O-rings. And O-rings is sort of a little bit more of a B2B flavor. But if you look at their page here, I'm just scrolling up and down, and you can get this in the broadcast in the blog, and in the blog is a very fun, interactive way to describe a fairly boring topic, right? You have videos here, you have nicely laid out graphics, you have a well-structured page, you have related literature, and of course it has features associated with this and pictures, etc. They even have a featured article, so a lot of this is going to rank well, but there's an example of a well-done education-based sort of authority builder here for your sales strategy. And so it really, really is a very powerful, let me get rid of this window here, a powerful mechanism for positioning you and your brand. Now, clearly tying right into this is number 2, that you establish yourself as an authority figure, and so rather than providing your customers with the blanket statements how great you are, you're asking them to trust you. You basically are establishing yourself as an expert, right? So you're educating, you're putting your message out there in a very favorable way, but also a very real way. You're also trying to help them in such a way that they ultimately get to know, like, and trust you. I mean, that's all what we want, right? In all honesty, that's what I'm doing here. I'm not trying to be weird or fake about that, but ultimately you might come back and say, hey, I like this guy. I like what they're doing over here. I may just find out a little bit more about them. And you can do that on chaosmap.com, as I mentioned. By the way, there's a big old red button on there. You can click on the homepage, see a recent case study, and you can even book in a 15-minute appointment there. Number 3 is you'll build your brand personality and provide extra value. So here is an example. You're listening to me right now, but put up a picture here of the media and marketing broadcast on iTunes, on Spotify, etc. I talked a little bit about that. You can get to it on janspodcast.com. So ultimately, what you should be doing and considering here is a strategy to display your brand, your personality around that, to give your company a voice, of course, and any excuse to communicate with your customers and prospects. And you can do that through blogging, seminars, right? Videos, podcasts like this one, online webinars, or events. In fact, on the event side here, that is actually one thing that we focus on a lot. Events for businesses in a variety of sources. But essentially, all of these things help you boost authority and position your brand, as I talked about just here, so that you can educate your audience and set yourself away from the competitors, right? Your competition. So really, in summary, what I wanted to get out here today, kind of a short presentation, but an important one, that education-based marketing is an effective method that draws customers in for the long term, right? And I mentioned this a few minutes ago. This is not an overnight. You can get, fast traffic and leads using, of course, things like Facebook ads, which we do a lot of, or Google ads, right? We're actually starting to launch some things on Pinterest right now. But these are, all of these things that you do needs to be built into an overall strategy. But as far as moving potential prospects through your customer journey and into a sales funnel, using education-based marketing is a key strategy for this. It's the one that I wanted to get out here today to talk about, because this is what you should be doing and you may not be doing, right? So what does that mean? Take action. This is where your moment is here to shine. And A big one here, by the way, we all have dealt with this, and I dealt with it for a long time, is fear. Just a moment on sort of the little bit on the mindset here. You may be thinking, well, I'm a great speaker. Maybe you could record something on a phone, but you are preventing yourself because fear is just putting you in the back seat, right? You don't want to deal with it because, well, what if I don't get it right? Or what if the sound is too high, too low? I need a production team behind me. I need to, have an intro and outro. Heck, I don't even, I don't have any of that over here. I'm working on it, but you know what? People want to hear from you. They want to hear your voice. They want to hear your message. They want to hear about how you can educate them and help them, Plus, of course, you build that know, like, and trust to build goodwill for you and your company. So if you are letting fear, put you in the backseat, as I said, or put you behind in terms of driving this forward as an action and create momentum, then you just need to stop it. As simple as that is, just stop it. Because, you probably come to a point where like, you know what, Jan, you're right. This is ridiculous. I need to get going on this, for God's sake. This is not a profitable venture for me in terms of positioning our brand. So, just stop it. Get going with your iPhone or whatever device you have, record it. If you don't want to actually do this in terms of an official podcast or a video, start simple with a blog. You've heard this before too, right? Well, how can I get this done right? Well, you do it right by recording your voice, thinking about the top 10 things you get asked most often in your industry, creating some levers on that in terms of making it easy to consume, right? So you might just approach your broadcast or your recording with, here are 3 things, here's 1 thing, here's 6 things you should consider, although you wanted to make it simple, right? This right here, 3 reasons for education-based marketing as a sales tactic. That's the blog post, and now I'm speaking to it. So once you have that, hand it off to your admin or upload it to rev.com, and they'll transcribe it for you. Get somebody to proofread it, clean it up, and throw it up on your blog, and then do that consistently once a week. Start right there, right? If you want to do a Thursday because that's your favorable day for activity in the industry, or that's when your email newsletter goes out, then you can add a link to it and just keep doing that, right? So anyway, this is just a short broadcast today. This is Jon at chaosmap.com. If you want to learn more about this, you can go over there. But this has been the the 3 reasons for education-based marketing as a sales tactic and why it works so well, and how literally you could say sell snow to Eskimos or ice to Eskimos. And that's it for now. I appreciate it very much, and I will talk to you in the next broadcast, y'all.